Breaking overnight, critically needed humanitarian aid has started rolling into Gaza. 20 trucks loaded with medicine, medical equipment, and food that have been waiting at the Rafah crossing in Egypt for days were finally allowed to cross the border. And a sliver of hope for desperate families of hostages. Hamas has released 2 Americans, a mother and daughter, who live in the Chicago area. They're the first hostages freed since Hamas launched its deadly surprise cross-border attack 2 weeks ago. President Biden said he was overjoyed by the news. There are still 210 hostages remaining in Gaza, according to the Israeli military. Christina Ruffini has more from the White House this morning. Christina, good morning.
Good morning, Dana. Judith Renan and her 17-year-old daughter, Natalie, went to Israel to celebrate the 85th birthday of Judith's mother. Israeli officials say they were kidnapped by Hamas gunmen from the Nahal Oz kibbutz about a few hundred yards away from Gaza during that October 7th terrorist attack.
After 2 weeks of sleepless nights, Yuri Renan says he finally got to hear his daughter's voice.
She sounds very good. She looks very good. She was very happy. And she's waiting to come home.
How was your call with the Americans? Wow.
President Biden spoke with Judith and Natalie Renan by phone after they were safely back in Israel, promising them the full support of the U.S. government as they recover from this terrible ordeal.
We welcome their release. We share in the relief that their families, friends, and loved ones are feeling.
The release of the 2 Americans from Hamas custody 2 weeks after the terror attack on Israel comes after relentless diplomatic efforts.
But there are still 10 additional Americans who remain unaccounted for in this conflict. We know that some of them are being held hostage by Hamas, along with an estimated 200 other hostages.
The nation of Qatar, which hosts a Hamas political office, helped facilitate the negotiations. The women were then handed over to the International Red Cross Red Crescent, which took them from inside Gaza to the Israeli border, where they were greeted by an IDF general, seen holding their hand in this photo.
This is a small joy in our family, but hopefully for all the other hostages and all the other families, just keep praying and hopefully good news will come.
Leaving Washington for the weekend, President Biden was asked if Israel should delay the ground invasion until they can get more hostages out.
Should Israel delay the ground invasion until you can get more hostages out?
Now, in case you couldn't hear it, to repeat, the president said yes when asked by the TV pool if Israel should delay the ground assault until they can get more hostages out. Of course, that comment got picked up all over the world, prompting pushback from the White House. An official says the president was far away. He didn't hear the full question. It sounded like a different question. He said the president was responding to and asked, would you like to see more hostages released? He wasn't commenting on anything else. So a bit of clarity there, or unclarity, depending on how you feel about the tape. Jeff?
Yeah, the answer sounded pretty clear. But anyway, Christina, thank you very much.
We also reviewed it. It sounded clear to us. But, yep,
yeah,
have a good morning.
It did.